Oh, hey, everybody. I was going to clear my throat, and then it said, you're live. I was like, that won't be good.
I can buy time for you.
Machines!
All right, that's all I got.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed. Machines! What's up, everybody?
Hello, everybody.
We're fucking back.
Back with a vengeance.
With a vengeance. Just projectile vomed a hairball. Stupid world record. Tell me more about this world record. Tell me about these beans, Zenny. Tell me about the beans.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
By the way, I want to say that I'll talk about it a little bit. That's what I want to say. By the way, I want to say that we'll talk about it in a little bit.
By the way, I tried to say I'll be.
By the way, I'm gonna. Just in case.
Are you really drunk?
I'm now drinking coffee. All right. Okay, girl.
She said drunk cat here.
I know. I know.
Wolf alcohol may be toxic to domestic animals like cats, but it sure is fun to watch them drink it.
I'm now in the coffee club. There you go.
All right. I don't know what's happening right now.
Just so you know, I added 2 new Ask Practical Dougs to the bottom of the list. Compliments of Slotty, just in case.
Oh, man. People are going to think we've got some bias. Slotty's getting all the
Hey, listen. When you submit Ask Practical Doug, it's a low bar to get over. Some of them, unfortunately, don't get over that bar. And they don't make it to the list. But, you know, I find them interesting. So.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I said, what? Yes.
I said yes. I said yes.
It's been
Oh, I missed that.
1 week since we podcasted last.
That's true, my friend. That is true. Das is true. So are you hiding from never mind, hold on. Why am I pretending like we've just started the podcast? We haven't.
I don't know. What's going on?
Doug, shut the fuck up.
I don't know.
some
Buddy says you should shut the fuck up.
Right?
Yep.
Right? That's what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just going to keep killing time with these. That's what we do. Formulated some ads for y'all to read as the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, yeah. Now we're talking. Somebody's listening to Doozy.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
I'm telling you. We'll talk about this more. You get to the part where he reads ads
It's right at the top.
No, but he reads when he reads ads as Jesse Ventura. I think that's like episode 2.
Oh, Ventura.
Yeah, he does Hulk Hogan reading, news, and then he also we'll talk about again. I got so much to talk about. He listened to the first 30 minutes, Wolf. The first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
He got a taste.
Back off.
He got a taste of the demon.
Back.
There's a demon inside of me. All right, let's get this show going. Are you ready? Because I'm fucking ready.
I'm ready. Hold on. Let me just get my mute button set.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, strap your butts in. Doug's about to talk for an hour and a half about Disney.
Get comfortable.
And diarrhea. Here we go.
Not necessarily diarrhea. Well, I mean, it's possible. No diarrhea stories yet, but
hey, the night's young.
the night is young. Let's do the. Oh, hold on. Good. Doug, remember to hit record. There we go. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Justin.
And I'm full of Viv. I'm full of vinegar. I'm full of popcorn. A little bit of prosciutto. Some orecchietta pasta. Some broccoli. A little bit of vinegar. Some thyme. About a teaspoon of red chili pepper flakes. And I got to tell you, 4 ounces of Parmesan cheese. I'm raring to go. I'm raring to go.
Viv or Vim?
Justin, why do we got to start out like this? Why the Inquisition? I don't understand.
I'm just saying, inquiring minds want to know. I'm just helping the internet ask the questions.
Viv as in vivify, as in life, Justin.
Okay, I'm into that. Yes.
Vin?
In that case,
you're talking like vin, like wine? Is it wine? Vin?
Yeah.
Vineyard?
Vino?
Vino? No.
I am full of probably the most delicious chicken I've ever made. Hands down.
Oh, really?
Douglas, this came out. We've eaten this 3 nights in a row now.
Ooh.
Because it's just that good and that simple. When you cut into, we'll say this, I've never made a chicken breast that has been this juicy.
Ooh.
Usually, chicken breast is super easy. Anything light meat is very easy to
dry that shit out. Yeah.
Very easily. This was like cutting into, not color-wise, but juice-wise, was like cutting into like a steak that was like medium rare.
I'm glad you clarified. It was just like cutting in and juices were running out. And it was like
inside. It was beautiful. So good. Almost cold to the touch. It was delicious.
So everyone likes their chicken, you know?
Yes. I'm telling you, I looked up just air-fried chicken breast, and the simplest recipe, olive oil, salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and paprika. Throw that in, things. 7 minutes on one side, 7 minutes on the other side, and that is it.
Fantastic.
And it has come out perfectly 3 consecutive nights. It's amazing.
I might need to do that, actually.
It's so good.
And
there's nothing to it. It's like super fucking healthy. We paired that with a fucking pile of broccoli and some not couscous. What's the
quinoa?
It's not quinoa.
Rice.
No.
Okra.
What's the Israeli grain?
The basmati rice.
Hold on. I'll get there.
Oh, boy.
I'll get there.
Oh,
is it couscous? No, it was couscous. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Way to go, dipshit.
It's so good, though.
Yeah, that sounds delightful, actually.
I'm raring to go, too. I'm packed with protein.
Yeah, because I went for a swim, and I had a steak. Let me tell you something, brother.
I got testosterone.
I'm a little full of Viv, right now from all that. I did some working out. I did some push-ups. Feeling good.
Speaking of working out, I decided center was getting a little too. I was like, I need to up this. So I've been doing the intermediate workouts. I upped it to the advanced workouts.
Oh
boy, they don't pull any punches. With the advanced workout. I was struggling for breath this morning.
Yeah, I went to the advanced level for the weights.
Yeah.
Whoo, boy. I like it because it's 5 days of lifting weights and only 1 day of cardio. That's my style. But Jesus Christ, these workouts are no joke.
No, I'm like, I might go back to intermediate.
I was like, I made it through week 1. I'm on week 2 of it. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm committed.
Yeah.
I'm committed to this shit. I want to make it happen. Make it happen. But
I'll be curious to see how these go because this was a whole different workout.
Well, I'm excited to be back. We took a little break while I went on vacation, and I'm super pumped to talk to you again, to hang out with all these cool people in the chat. So let's just get through some housekeeping real quick. Hey, if you're listening to us, rate it, subscribe it, right? Review it, do all of it. If you're watching us on YouTube, like, subscribe, drop a comment. It means everything to us. That's fantastic. We've got merch at redbubble.com. We've got a Patreon, patreon.com/mindgappodcast. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/mindgappodcast. And follow us on all our socials at mindgappodcast. We love you. And check out our Discord. Links in the description for the YouTube. Do that. Come join us. Come be part of the gang. And be part of the Patreon squad.
Right.
Be part of it like Tom McIntyre, like Richie Armour, like Zenny, like Slutty Bartfast, and like Almighty Crit. You could be one of those people. Sign up.
These people are all part of the solution.
Yeah.
You realize that. Not part of the problem. They are actively contributing to the solution.
They are.
And you can be as amazing as they are and contribute to the solution as well.
Yeah. And if you like what we do, fucking share it, bro. Fucking share it.
Man, Florida rubbed off on you.
Fucking share it, bro. Send it out there. Be like, this is what you need to be listening to. Yeah. Check it out. And also, I do a video game live stream on Saturdays, 8 p.m. Central. We also live stream the podcast Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central. Come hang out. God damn, Slotty, you picked that out of my brain. I actually was thinking about that. I didn't say it. I'm glad you typed it. I won't repeat it here because you got to be here live Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Central Time to enjoy what the chat has to offer because it's great and be like those people. So there you go. Be cool to us because we love you. That's all we got to say. Housekeeping, done, record time. We're moving on. Justin,
that was impressive.
How the fuck are you?
I'm good, man. So do you know how I was pining? I'm a boosted board rider.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I love the boosty. I've been pining to ride a one wheel, the thing that Noah rides around
What's
on.
the difference?
So a boosted board is like a regular skateboard with a motor on the back. So you've got a deck, 4 wheels, and it's the back, like 2 wheels are attached to a motor. You've got a remote control that you operate with your hand. A one wheel is a plank of wood that is on top of a giant wheel, one wheel, and you lean forward or backwards to make it go one way or the other. Okay. So, and you can, with the one wheel, you can take it off road. You can go across grass and gravel. And that's kind of the nice thing about it is that with the boosted board, you're limited to paved roads. So I've been really excited to try this one wheel because I'm into skating and all that. And I think it's cool. So I was planning before he moved down to Nashville, I was planning to take a trip on down hour south of here. And we were going to do a little ride. Well, he left. I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to do this. So Beth and I were out shopping. I found this outdoor store. In the store, they sell one wheels. They have one out for sampling. And I was like, hey, is there any possibility of like giving that a test ride? And they're like, absolutely. We just need to sign you this waiver and you need to wear a helmet. I'm like, done. So I sign it at this and this. The guy brings me out. He's like, okay, hold on to this post and get up. And here's how you do this and this. It was whenever you feel good, go ahead and let go of the post and just take off. I'm going to tell you something, Doug. My age is starting to show. It's very different riding on a deck with 4 wheels than riding on a singular wheel and having to balance on that, right? It's very similar to riding a tricycle versus riding a bicycle, you know, or you take those training wheels off and now you've got a balance. And so this thing, also the leaning back and forth, very different than using a remote. So this thing immediately got away from me and I went fucking ass over head, right down on the palm of my hand and just fucked my hand up. I got up and I'm like, thank you. Handed the helmet back. I'm just like, I'm going to slink away now. And they're like, you can keep trying. I'm like, I'm all good.
Listen,
I shouldn't be doing this.
I'm 40 years old. This can't keep happening. I'm sorry.
I'm very pleased with my boosted board. I'm very, very happy to stay standing on a deck with 4 wheels and just cruising on down.
It would have been awesome
down this road of life.
If you got on, like, as you signed the waiver, they're like, all right, you matey. What you need to do is put your foot on the bow and beware the stern. And then head off on the starboard side and be wary of seagulls because they'll peck out your eyes. You know, you're like, what the fuck? They're like, you're on a one wheel now, matey.
If they had started there, I probably would have just walked out of me.
You're like, cool. And they hand you like a sword.
Right.
They're like, be careful on the roads. You never know what kind of pirates you be fighting.
This doesn't seem safe. Do I need to carry this?
He grabs you by the scruff. And he goes, the world isn't safe, matey. Be prepared. He-ar! And then slinks off. You're like, what?
Right. And the weird thing is, it was like a 70-year-old woman who was, so.
And you realize that you've lost your doubloons because she's reached inside your pocket while she grabbed your scruff and she had just, pickpocketed you.
Right.
Yeah.
Her partner had come up, and that's just what they do to people.
That's what they do to them. Yeah.
Grand Rapids is a weird place.
What they don't realize is that the sword that they gave you is worth more than the doubloons that they took from you. They're not good at math. They don't understand value.
It's the hilt is all lined with jewels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jared goes, I'm curious if my years of Segway tours would help with the one-wheel riding. Wolf goes, it's a one-wheel, not a Segway. Don't be dramatic.
Well, I think the thing is with a Segway, you're standing 2 feet in the same direction. You're holding on to something. With this, you're standing in line and you're
like
not
a
holding on to
surfboard.
anything. Yeah, exactly. And so it's just different. I have to assume. Look, if I stayed on that thing, I'm sure eventually I would pick it up, and I'm sure Noah would say it's actually not that hard. But man, I was done as soon as that. So, and let me tell you this: working out after that, doing like planks and like burpees and stuff, not fun when you're the palm of your hand, the heel of your hand is jacked up.
Not good.
Not fun. So I had a really fun week off.
Good for you.
That's what I did.
Real quick, it's fucking Sergio in the chat.
Uh-oh.
What's up, Sergio? Welcome, my friend. Hope you are well. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Yeah.
So what have you been up to?
Well, as you all should know, I was in goddamn Disney World and having the time of my life, man. I haven't been to Disney since December of 2017, which is a while. It's been
I was
a while.
gonna say, for you, that's a record stretch,
yeah,
right?
is over 4 years. Natalie wasn't even 2 when we first took her, so she was almost. And so we had decided a while ago, about a year ago, we're like, it'd be nice to go back there. When do we want to go? My parents have the vacation club, and they don't get down there as much as they want to. So I was just kind of like, hey, you guys using your points? The way it works is it's basically like a timeshare. You earn points every year, and you can use those points to basically pay for accommodations. So I was like, hey, are you using the points? Because if not, we'll be happy to use them. And my mom was really cool. She's like, absolutely. She helped us, got us some great accommodations, and we got it ready to go. And we basically kept it from Natalie until her birthday. We knew we had it booked in December, and we were like, we can't tell her now. No, we had it booked in like October. It's like, we can't fucking tell her. She'll lose her mind.
I was gonna say, were you not telling her because at the age that she is, at the time 5 into going into 6, she would not have been able to reconcile that much time in between? Like it would have just been too much of her asking, are we going now?
It was brutal telling her on her birthday, which is at the 60-day mark. She
Yeah.
kept going, how many more days? How many more days? I'm like, you're goddamn
was
lucky I
more-
didn't tell you when we booked this. Jesus.
This was more for your guys' sanity
Yeah.
than like doing a big reveal on a certain day. This was just so you guys didn't go
Well, I was
insane.
hoping to get that nice reveal, and when I told her on her birthday, it was very anticlimactic. She didn't understand really
She said,
what
"Do
it
you see
was.
the concept of what Disney is?"
She understood, like when I showed her like the magic bands. She's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Disney World," but she doesn't really know what that is. She was
Got
like,
it,
"How do I
okay.
get this wristband out of here? I want to wear it." Like that's what she was. She didn't have any concept
I
of.
wear this, yeah.
How do I get this out? But we got up real fucking early. We got up at 4 a.m. and we headed out to our flight. And I gotta tell you, Natalie was a goddamn trooper for this entire trip. Like everything that you see. Well, I mean, you just don't know, right? Because there's like sensory overload. There's excitement. There's sugar. There's heat.
Lots of sugar.
There's lines.
of
There's a lot of stuff that kids don't necessarily know how to reconcile.
Sure.
And she was a goddamn delight the entire time, and she was just down for whatever. And I was so proud of her that every day I was like, I can't tell you. You keep moving the bar higher every day. Like I'm like, hey, if you have a meltdown, that's fine. She never melted down, not once. She was a fucking trooper. We didn't have time for naps most of the time, so she just powered through like her mom, and it was great, man.
I don't know kids. At 6, do you still take naps?
She should probably stop.
Okay.
Because as she heads into first grade, they don't do naps at that
That's
school.
fair.
So we're trying to basically tell her, like, hey, stop taking naps at school. And when she goes into summer camp, they don't do naps. So that's going to be a good sort of like, hey, you got to get going. So we've been sort of like weaning her off of it. And she doesn't necessarily like, at school, she'll take naps. But when she's at home, she doesn't want to. So I think we're heading in the right direction. But she's napped a lot longer than, I know I've heard some parents say kids at like 2 or 3, like, are like, I'm done. And you're like, fuck. Right. Like, I didn't want the naps to go away because I'm like, that's at least an hour and a half to 2 hours I have to myself.
Absolutely, yeah. That's when Drew gets his work done. That's when we can meet. He's like, all right. I'm like, let me know this afternoon when Max goes down, and he'll be like, cool, now. And so we'll get on, and we know we have X amount of time to really to dive into stuff. Sergio said, I still take naps at 38. Here's the thing. That's fine because there's a period where you have to stop doing that, and then you gain the right to do it again. And you are well within that right.
Sometimes you need to do it again.
Yes.
So, yeah,
absolutely.
I'm with you. I'm a nap guy. I love a good nap. I just try not to sleep longer than an hour. Because when I was in college,
at that point, that's just sleeping.
Yeah, because when I was in college, I'm like, I'm going to take a nap, and I'd sleep for 3 hours. It's like, that's not a nap.
Right.
You
Nope.
were just doing a sleep.
Slept.
Yeah, it's not good. So yeah,
not to derail too
No,
much.
go
But
ahead.
I can't wake up after naps. I don't like napping because I feel like the next 2 to 3 hours are completely wasted for me. I'm groggy after a nap.
Yeah, especially if you, well, it depends. Because if I do a 30 to 40 minute nap, I feel pretty refreshed because I haven't gone into that deep REM sleep, and I can bounce back. But when you do anything over an hour, you start heading into that territory where your body's like, we're fucking sleeping, man. You wake up and you're like, ugh. I'm like, that's 2 to 3 hours of my day gone. Like,
that's true too. Yeah,
I don't have the luxury of necessarily sacrificing that to the nap gods. So I kind of have to, I'm much better now with like, I've got about 45 minutes. I'm going to grab a quick 40 to 45 minute nap. And I will oftentimes wake up before my alarm and I'm like, cool, I feel good. I feel refreshed. Let's keep on chugging here. So
that's cool. Yeah. Time doesn't matter for me. Like it's short, long. It doesn't matter. I cannot wake myself up for whatever reason.
Yeah. I used to not be able to fathom the idea of a 30 to 40 minute nap. I'm like, what?
Right.
Why?
And then you became a dad.
And then I was like, oh, I don't like feeling like shit. And also, I don't have that much time.
Right.
Nor do I want to spend my precious free time sleeping like that. So, I ain't going to do that. But yeah, we flew down there. And I spent probably the majority of the trip just watching Natalie experience things. Like that to me was, I'm like, because she just doesn't know. Like, she doesn't know what this is.
Right.
And, of course, all she wanted to do was swim. That's like the first thing on her mind. She's like, are we going to go swimming? I'm like, yes. But first, so we got there pretty early.
It's a whole literal kingdom we need to go explore.
Yes. So we land. We go through the big Walt Disney World gate. I still don't think she understands like what that means or anything like that. And we're seeing like the statues for Tower of Terror. I'm like, look, that's what that is. And she's still like, okay, like she doesn't get it. Yeah. And then,
even though to prep, you showed her a bunch of the 4K video walkthroughs of everything. So she knew everything she was going to be encountering. It just didn't click because she'd never seen it in real life.
Because that's the thing I love about watching that stuff is you can watch a ride in 4K. You can watch it. It doesn't. It's like taking a picture of a work of art. Yeah. It doesn't do it justice. Or like trying to take a picture of a sunset. Right. You're just not going to capture it. It's just not going to be something important. You're just not going to do it. Jared says this trip will be a core memory for her. I hope so. I really do, honestly.
That'd be awesome if that's the case, yeah.
So we get there. Our room's not ready, which was totally fine. We prepped for that. And then we hop on a bus, and we head right over to Magic Kingdom. And this couldn't have been a more perfect entry into the trip. Right. We get there. It's probably it's maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And so the mad rush to get in there, you can just waltz right into the park, right? There's no lines or anything like that. So as we get off there was nobody on the bus. It was just us. So it's just like a personal limo taking us to wherever we're going. Natalie's like skipping, into the park. We do all of our stuff. We walk in. As we walk in, there's a fucking parade that's coming by.
Come on.
And it's like
that's awesome.
The epic parade where there's a giant metal dragon that's like shooting fire out of its mouth. Minnie and Mickey are there. I just immediately grab her, throw her on my shoulders, and we're navigating through the park and everything. And Natalie's like, look at that. Look at that dragon. We're walking by, and Minnie and Mickey, and Jill just starts crying. She starts weeping. She's like, I'm sorry. This is just, we're here now, and I'm watching her on your shoulders, and oh my God. I'm like, I know, isn't this great? And we're just
it's that idyllic family moment that you just picture. Yeah.
And Natalie's just like absorbing. She's like, there's Mickey, there's Minnie. I'm like, yeah, we're here. And we head over to, we ride like the aerial ride. on Doug's shoulders. She could probably see the whole park. I'll tell you, her favorite ride was Dad's shoulders because she rode on them a lot.
Yeah.
We rode
Thank God it wasn't like August.
Oh,
You have that, I don't know how, 50 pounds of just flesh on top of your, like, talk about just flop sweating.
I got to tell you, it was not that hot. I mean, it was mid-80s, but the humidity was not there. So
you went right at the right time.
It was so nice. Like, it was very, very enjoyable. We go ride the aerial ride, the under the sea thing. It was like sort of the first thing. And then had Fast Pass, Lightning Lane, I'm sorry, for Space Mountain. And I was like, Space Mountain, I was like, all right. And I was leading up to it. I go, hey, listen, I couldn't show you this one because it's in the dark. All right. I go, you've ridden roller coasters before at the local carnival. I go, this isn't like that. This is
never would run like this.
Way more intense. I go, and it's going to be in the dark. I go, the story behind this ride is that we're getting in a spaceship and we're flying through space to another planet. Okay. So just know that, you know, we're going to be right here with you, but if you get scared, it's fine. But I'm also going to challenge you to be brave. And she was like, okay. I was so fucking worried, man. I was like, we go in, we had the Lightning Lane. I didn't realize how long of a line it is to get through. Like, and not only that, you're walking through the dark. Like, at some point, I'm like, hold on to my hand because, like, because you just come from outside, it's super fucking dark, and you're like, God, where do we walk? Like, it's crazy. And we get in there, we load in there, and Jill's first, then it's Natalie, then it's me. I'm just like reaching my hand over, just like patting her chest. I'm like, you ready? Here we go. And we just sort of shoot off, and it's an old sort of it's an older ride. It's one of those wooden rides, so it's loud as you're going through.
Yeah.
I'm giggling. I think I hear Jill giggling. I can't hear anything from Natalie. And I'm like, I don't know. I hope she's enjoying herself. I hope she's not sobbing. And I'm just like, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
We get off. Her hair's blown back, and she was like, that's the best ride I've ever ridden. That's the best ride at Disney World. I'm like, girl, it's only your second ride, and you're saying that's the best one?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that? And she at that point on, she was in it.
That's awesome.
She's like, I want to ride this ride every single day. I was like, I don't think that's logistically possible, but I appreciate the spirit. She ended up riding that ride twice.
Nice.
She rode Big Thunder Mountain 3 times.
Jesus.
She rode Splash Mountain twice.
Nice.
She was a thrill seeker, man. She wanted all those rides.
That's awesome, man.
She rode Tower of Terror. The first time she rode it, she didn't like it. It was a little spooky for her, even though I prepped her. I was like, listen.
Was it the fall? Was it the theme, the ghosts? Was it like, what was the spooky part?
I think it was the ghost stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of freaked her out. And so we rode it, and Jill and I were both like, oh, that sucks. And then I ended up getting a Fast Pass or a Lightning Lane for later in the day. And I was like, I don't know if we're going to use it again. But like, we came off a ride. I just kind of leaned down. I go, hey, I'm going to leave this entirely up to you. Whatever you say is totally cool. All right. I go, do you want to ride on this again? Because we can go right in if you want to. And she just sat there and she goes, I want to do it again. I'm like, get on my shoulders. We've got 10 minutes to get there. Let's go. Yeah. And we booked it over, and she went down again, and she really enjoyed it the second time. She goes, I think I'm going to do better because I know what to expect this time because I've already ridden it. I'm like, exactly. You didn't know the first time? And then she was much cooler with it. Now, the one ride she didn't like was Expedition Everest. That's the one in Animal Kingdom with the Yeti.
Yep.
And she did not like the Yeti in that one.
Is that the one where like you fall down and then?
Well, that's the one you go backwards into the dark, and that one's got some G's on it. Like as we're going, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling it. I'm like, oh right, okay, that's a lot. But I think what she really didn't like is when you're going in through the dark, and then they just have the Yeti there, and they have the strobe light on it as you go under it. She came off of that one crying. She was not doing well.
Ooh, okay.
She didn't even like us talking about it. The ride.
Oh shit!
Yeah, she was like, Nah. I'm like, okay.
Guys, we're going to pretend that one didn't happen, okay?
I was like, yeah, that's fine. If that was like the last day, I'm like, if that's the one ride you didn't like, that's fine. That's totally fine. Sergio says, my 10-year-old is terrified of roller coasters, but we managed to get her on Slinky and Tower of Terror. My 11-year-old rode Everest by herself and wanted to ride again. Ah, see, we got there when it opened. Shut up, Siri. We got there right when it opened, and it was like we could have immediately ridden it again and probably ridden it again if we wanted to.
Yeah.
But Natalie was like, I don't want to do it. I'm like, all right, that's cool. It's totally fine. She likes Slinky Dog, which is the new Toy Story ride and everything like that.
The Toy Story land
Oh,
is impeccably done. That
Man.
land was incredible.
I got to tell you, Hollywood Studios, that used to be a half day for Jill and I. We knock everything out. We're good to go. Adios. Not anymore. That park has so much shit to do. Like it's unbelievable. Like
I gotta ask you guys, because I saw the photo dump and you guys made it on Star Wars.
Yeah.
How did it go with? Did you get the first round or the second round tickets?
All right. So here's my first issue with
Let's
the new
hear it.
Disney. God damn, do they nickel and dime you?
Yep. Thanks, Bob Chapek.
God damn it. Like, it is already really fucking expensive to go to Disney World. I always said that. I knew that. I often would say, I open up my wallet and say, take what you want because it's worth it. There were some things where I was like, I don't know anymore. Like, where I'm like, you guys, what the fuck are you doing here? Because I went ahead and, because it used to be, you get what's called a fast pass, where day of, it used to be you go to the park and you just would put something in and you try to get a physical thing, a physical pass that you would then say, come back between this time and basically get to go through a special line that goes fast.
Yeah.
Then they moved it to the app where you would book them in advance. You'd be like, for the day, you can choose these 3 things and these are the times, you get what you get, and those will be the rides that you ride, which I was fine with. That's totally cool. Now they have this thing called Genie Plus. Did you get to use this at all while you were there?
No, we didn't. I think actually, I don't know if the Genie Plus was out. I think they rolled it out just after, maybe.
Okay.
I don't remember.
I know it's relatively new.
Yeah, but I think it came out just after we went down there for the last time.
So
I could be wrong on that, but no.
Genie Plus, like the Genie Plus, there's a portion of it that's absolutely free, and what it is it allows you to plan your day. You say, on this day, I'm going to this park. These are the things that are important to me, like these rides, these shows, or whatever. And it will sort of like, I don't know, give you a concierge for the day. Like, hey, here's your day. Here's the things that you're most interested in. Here are the wait times for those things. There you go. For an upgrade of $15 per person, you can then get access to lightning lanes through the Genie Plus app.
Right.
Which I think is kind of bullshit. I ended up paying an extra like $290 for us to have that every single day, which was, I will say, was worth it to be able to get these lightning lane passes. But at best, you got to use it twice a day because you can use it first thing in the morning, like at 7 o'clock. You can hop on and try to grab your lightning lanes, and you can't do it again until 11 a.m. So the risk is that at 11 a.m. there may not be any lightning lanes left for the really popular rides. So, because some of those go real fast, and they're gone for the day within a matter of minutes. You're not
planning your day out. You got to when it opens back up at 11, you got to go in and try to grab whatever you're grabbing. Yeah.
And sometimes I think they open it and then they open them up again, depending on what's going on. But then there's an extra bullshit element to it, where there are specific rides where the only way to get lightning lane, regardless of whether or not you have Genie Plus, you have to pay an extra fee to get it. And it ranges anywhere from $9 to $15 per person to get, which is absolute bullshit. It's absolute horseshit.
Yeah.
And it infuriates me because I'm like, listen, it's already expensive enough to be here, and now you're like, oh, by the way, do you want to ride this ride? Do you want to avoid the 120-minute wait?
Right.
Well, if you're lucky, you can buy one of these if they don't run out.
Right.
I ended up doing that for Rise of the Resistance because I was like, I was like, I'll do it. I'll do it for that. I will pay the extra $15 per person to make sure we secure, So you didn't have to do the thing where you just jumped into because Genie Plus aside, the normal way that Rise of the Resistance works is it was, at least when we were down there, it was purely on lottery. And you had to, when 7 a.m. hit, you had to be in the app and you had to go through and pick your party and then say book, and then you would get the tickets. It sold out in 50, or the tickets were gone within 15 seconds of me jumping on. So then you've got to be inside the park at 1 p.m.
and you've got to be, have your location tracking on so they know you're in the park, and you can try it again. And we got them on that one. But this, you're saying they are allowing you to, with this additional pay feature, you can secure your tickets, and then they open up to everyone else, like any extra tickets they've got.
Well, essentially what it is you can go, it's open now where you just show up and wait in a line. Like,
oh, so they're not even doing the lottery thing anymore.
Nope.
Okay, that's all
just
done.
Wide open. And the line for that fills up insanely fast. I saw 125-minute wait times for that ride. And the lightning lanes now are, you can buy it for an extra $15 per person and get it. But even then, if those sell out, tough shit, go wait in line. Like,
right, exactly. Because they can't sell them to everyone, because that just, you get a 125-minute lightning lane.
So I was afraid because immediately at 7 o'clock, everything went, just blew up. And I'm like, well, fuck. I was like, fuck this park, fuck all this shit, whatever. I guess I just won't go see it. And then for whatever reason, once we got in there like for the early open for the park, because it opens at a time, and if you stayed at Disney Resort, they usually open up 30 minutes early on the specific days. We happened to catch it on that day, so we got there extra early. And while we were on our way over to Tower of Terror, I just looked again, and they had opened up some more. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to grab this, and I did. I was like, I'm willing to pay it because I saw it online. I watched a video of the ride. I'm like, I think this will be cool. Let's check it out. And it was... hands down, that is the best ride that Disney has made to date. And I think that it is unrivaled for its immersion. It's the length of it. So many rides. Natalie, of course, doesn't understand. We get through rides. She goes, oh, that's it. And I'm like, that's life, kid. Yep. But for this, it was incredible. Just everything you experience with it is amazing. And very cool. Like they did some of the things I really appreciate about Disney is how they break up the lines with experiences, which is really cool. So amazing. Like just the detail they put into the Star Wars portion of that park is unbelievable. Yeah.
Because really, they had you queue up 3 times in that ride, and you don't really realize it because all 3 times something is happening to you.
Yes.
On those 3, it's fucking bonkers.
It's a way to sort of divide up the line.
Yep.
So that it sort of makes it easier to deal with, and it's so good. It's so well done, and those
troopers that did you have the ones that were mocking you and like would?
Everyone seemed to be pretty burnt out on their jobs. When we got there, people were reciting lines and things like that, but no one was really into it. It didn't feel like, which was probably my one critique of that. Like, listen, I don't need method acting or anything like that, but I would have appreciated a little more, like especially when the resistance comes in. Yeah. Like to save you, like, hey guys, come on in, let's get you out of here. We're
Was that how they were?
Yeah, the guy was just very much just like farting out his lines. He's like, don't worry, R5's gonna take care of you here. All right, let's go.
Yeah, Sergio So's Empire actors were being dicks. It was great. That was our experience. Is like they got us in that the line when you're a prisoner, and right before that they take you into that room and you see Kylo Ren and all that. When you're standing on the different color cues, the people that were berating you, like our guys, were just amazing at it. I don't know if they were channeling their inner rage about working at Disney or what, but they were. It was wonderfully done.
It's funny because I was looking, because the thing was I was all for it. Like I told Natalie. Natalie was totally role playing with me too. It was awesome. So like as we were, as we get captured by the Empire, and it's in the weird calamari guy was like, don't tell him about the secret base. I turn to Natalie, I go, Natalie, we can't tell him about the secret base. And she just goes, okay. I was like, they're gonna ask us. Don't tell him anything. And she goes, and just covers her mouth. And then they go in and we get in lines. I go, they're looking at us, and we'd look away real quick, and Natalie would be like, she just wouldn't make eye contact. I'm like, don't tell him anything. And I'd turn and talk to Jill, and she'd be like, hit me in the stomach, and be like, shh, Dad, don't tell him anything. Like, she was really into it, which I loved.
Yeah.
And so we were just very much being playful, but I didn't get that from him, which is, it's fine. It is what it is. I get it. I try to put myself in the shoes. I'm like, as much fun as I would have doing that for, I don't know, 10 hours a day.
Yeah. That's rough.
That gets rough to basically be like, hey guys, we're the Resistance. Let's get you out of here. Come on, R5. Let's go.
Let me ask you this: when the doors open and they pulled you off, when you were docked onto the Star Destroyer, and the doors opened and you were in the hangar, did your jaw drop? Like,
dude,
I got goosebumps.
I
when
did
I was
too.
like, I'm on the set. I was like, oh my God.
Right?
Oh my God, I'm on the set. Yeah.
Right? If that's what it feels like. I have fallen out of love with Star Wars. I've made that very clear, but I got goosebumps. Like I was finding myself like smiling and giggling at just everything. When you walk on there, it was what I loved. I will say this, there was a gravitas about some of the Empire people, like when they captured our ship, like someone just walked into the center of the room, arms behind their back, and just stared at everybody, and no one said a fucking word.
Yeah.
And they're like, come with me, resistance. And like everyone was like, oh, are we in trouble? And you walk in and it's dead fucking silent. Like it's just except for the ambiance of the ship. And you're just like, you almost want to feel like, is it cool if I take a picture? Like they just sit there staring at you.
Right.
And you're like,
well, that's it. I did. I pulled my phone out. I'm like, they might yell at me for this. But I'm like, no, fuck that. Yeah. But the scale of it.
Yeah.
Like it's just daunting and wonderful.
So impressive. The whole ride itself, it's thrilling. It takes everything to the next level. Like that is the next level of entertainment on a ride. It was
absolutely
unbelievable, unrivaled.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, Disney has they've really done a great job with some of their newer rides. Just what they're doing with the animatronics. It's just becoming new. Like they're having some sort of projection onto them to give them more interesting sort of expressions and things like that, which was really cool.
The faces are more dynamic and
one of the rides I think I rode it, but I'll never ride it again, was the new Ratatouille ride at Epcot.
Oh, I was wondering how that was still under construction when we were there.
Unfortunately, we caught it at a bad time. Couldn't get a lightning lane for it, and I turned to Jill and I was like, "Are we committing to this? Because it's going to be at the time it was a 75-minute wait." I was like, "Are we committed to this?" We ended up waiting probably 115 minutes. Like
that's rough.
And it was one of those rides, for whatever reason, they gave you nothing to look at. They gave you nothing to split up the line. It just felt endless. And it absolutely sucked the life out of us for the day. It absolutely killed our energy. We were exhausted. We were frustrated. And the ride, I was like, I don't know what's going to have to happen for me to be like, that was worth it, because I knew there's nothing that was going to make it worth it. And it wasn't. It wasn't. It was interesting, but the wait for it, it didn't count for the payoff. Like it just.
What do you do with Natalie during a 115-minute wait?
I was very patient with her. Like I was very patient. Because I'm also cognizant of her feet getting tired. So I would lift her up and put her on some of the railings, and like I'd hold her for as long as I could, and everything like that. And she was the next day we got her a toy from Raya and the Last Dragon. It's a little dragon called Sisu, and she fucking played with that. I'm like, where was this day one? This would have been awesome.
Right, we should have
to have. She was great with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was a trooper with that. But that was brutal, and I'm like, I appreciate what they're going for with it, but the new Mickey and Minnie ride at Hollywood Studios is phenomenal. It's what replaced the Great Movie Ride.
Did we go on that one? I don't think we went on that one.
It is awesome. It is so good. It's based on some of Disney does like classic Mickey cartoons, but they also do like they seem like Ren and Stimpy style animation cartoons as well.
I noticed some of that down there. Yeah.
That ride's based on that version of Minnie and Mickey, and it's very fun. It is very unique. It is wild. It is crazy. It's very well designed. It's super fun. Really enjoyed that one. That was really, really cool. We got to see the outside of the new Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster at Epcot. That is opening at the end of May.
Very cool.
I was just sort of like, it was heavily guarded. Shrubs and artificial shrubs or whatever were put in the way so people can't go in there because they know people are curious. But I was like, oh, that looks cool. That looks really cool. I bet the wait for that's going to be fucking insane.
Yep.
But
I'm curious just to see them build out more of Avengers Campus. I'm curious to see what that's gonna. I mean, it's full swing in Hollywood, so I'm very curious.
Yeah, that's right, because they have the Avengers Campus, they have the Tower of Terror, which they convert over to the Guardians of the Galaxy sort of ride. They haven't done any Marvel
stuff of like the Spider-Man, the animatronic Spider-Man flipping, and that whole stage show of Doctor Strange has the portal behind the door. Like there's a whole fucking thing.
They've done. This is literally the first Marvel
Yeah.
like attraction at Disney World. Epcot looks like it's under full construction. Like, I don't know.
That's how it looked when we were there.
Yeah,
too.
they're doing big stuff over there. And
well, Universal still has the Hulk ride and the Spider-Man ride.
Really?
So when we were there, we had one day at Universal and
huh.
and everything was still there. So I don't know when they lose. I don't know, maybe if Disney Florida has to wait until
I was almost positive that the date had already passed where the licenses for that went up.
I don't know. Maybe the licenses are up, but there's some sort of a grace period.
Maybe. I don't know.
Thing is, I don't know what they're going to do with that Hulk one at Universal, because that one is fucking massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of roller coasters, I also want to shout out, I hadn't ridden Space Mountain in years because I was too fat and it was too uncomfortable. And I rode it with zero problem.
Look at you, buddy.
Very comfortable. I was like, I got in and I was like, all right.
Congrats, man.
Way to go, man. You did it.
Yeah.
So that was a nice sort of like,
you no longer have to worry about things not the lap bars not clicking into place.
Or if they do, it's like you're gonna possibly pass out from lack of oxygen because you can't breathe. You know,
rupture lungs.
As I'm like, because I can't breathe. It was like, oh, this is okay. This is
I'll
okay.
say this: I'm very surprised the three of you wore your glasses and kept your glasses.
Oh yeah, I never had to worry of that.
Really?
Yeah.
I am always on any roller coaster. If I'm wearing my glasses or even sunglasses, they're off and they're in my pocket. And like, I am so overly concerned about losing something on a roller coaster.
I wonder if you just inceptioned me with that now, because I've never worried about it. I've never had them fall off or anything. So
good luck.
Wow.
Why'd you do that?
Why'd you do that? I don't have it.
10-hour, yeah.
One of my other very special moments was watching the fireworks at Magic Kingdom with Natalie. She had seen fireworks before, and I told Jill and I both told her, "Hey, you never seen fireworks like this." And we went to Magic Kingdom 2 days. We did like our first day and then a second full day with the purpose of we're gonna go and see the fireworks. And I had her on my shoulders the whole time, and I literally I was like stretching beforehand. I was like, and Jill's like, "Are you gonna be okay?" I go, "This is why I work out for this moment, so that I can have her on my shoulders the whole fucking time."
Right.
And
it's like 15-20 minutes, right?
Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah. I was hurting because I was just standing there. You know, I feel like it's easier when you're walking, but you're just standing there with this weight on you, and you're like, I'm sitting there just being like, when is it over? When is it over? I'm like, it's not for me, it's for Nat. But Jill was just recording basically Nat's face the whole time, and she was just mouth agape, just watching everything. Tinkerbell comes down
paired with it.
Oh yeah, and she was like, "Whoa, huh?" And when it was over, she's like, "Okay, you were right. That was awesome. Like it was unbelievable." And my favorite moment was our last night. Nat has her dad's love of video games, and they had a little arcade. We were staying at the Wilderness Lodge. I'm like, we didn't get to go to this. Let's go down there. You and me. Mom wants to pack. You and me, let's go down there. We did that. I was like, let's go check out this other pool we didn't get to see. And as we were walking down by the lakefront, I noticed the fireworks are going off, and they had the audio playing from the park at the resort. And I was like, do you want to watch these again? She's like, sure. Popped her up on my shoulders, and we just watched the fireworks. And she said multiple times, she's like, Dad, I'm never going to forget this. And I'm like, oh, my heart.
Getting me in the feels.
My heart. It's swelling up and feeling. Yeah, it was phenomenal. It's definitely getting to the point where Disney, you almost need another day, like, to get through everything. There is so much to see. And I haven't been there in 4 years. And I think part of it is we were exhausted because we were trying so hard to see everything we hadn't seen before.
Sure. Yeah.
And also just, you know, it's crazy the wait times for some of these rides, like Jungle Cruise, which I'd argue one of the shittier rides at Disney World. Maybe it's just pure nostalgia. Was like 90 minutes wait for that ride. I'm like, why? That
ride hasn't been updated in years.
Yeah, and problematically, like, has not been updated in years.
Yeah. That's why. I mean, it's different with you because you've got a 6-year-old, but
Yeah.
like, we've talked about how Beth and I Disney, and we
Totally
resort
different.
hop, man. Like it's like that's because of that reason right there. Like there's just so much to take in. Like maybe we'll do one day at a park and we'll pick like, okay, let's hit Magic Kingdom or let's hit, Hollywood or whatever. And we'll walk around and we'll go a couple rides, but that's it. But when we go down, man, it's all about resort hopping, and it is the most chill, non-worrisome. It's the old that's, and again, I'm sure it's because we don't have a kid, and that's that. Like we can do that,
Yeah.
But if you're going down and you're just adults, do a day at a park. But man, I'm telling you, if you, it's getting harder though. I will say, because now every resort has the wristbands, and the pools are getting closed up, so you can't just go resort to resort and go to the pool. You can go to the bars and you can hang out, walk around. Like we went to Coronado, and they've got the new tower, and just the grounds of Coronado are beautiful. So you can still do that, but like you can't just go hang out at the pools like you used to. So it's getting harder to resort hop, but you can still make it happen.
Yeah. E-Toy, what's up, man? Long time no see. He says that's why we become dads, to take kids to Disney World and have them on your shoulders for the fireworks show. Living the dream. You goddamn right. He also said Jungle Cruise is the worst. That was one of the rides where I hadn't ridden it in years, and then finally I took Jill and I go, hey, let's ride this. And I equate to the time I dragged her to the movie Alexander, and I basically was just apologizing profusely. That and Captain EO. They had Captain EO for a little bit. I was like, oh, we should go see this. I used to watch this the whole time. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry we spent time on this. This is bad.
Yep.
This is bad.
Yeah,
it's I would say, so my beefs I had were the wait times. I don't know how you're ever going to combat those, because part of what I was thrilled about was that some of these rides just become less popular over time, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Like everything is just like people are seeing it. So, and if you can only do 1 to 2 lightning lanes a day, you are going to have to suffer through those lines and just basically really figure out what is it that you're going to do. Like, are you going to go through it or are you not?
Yeah, we did 2.5 hour waits for a few rides when because we didn't do the fast passes or anything like, or the lightning lanes or whatever the fuck. Actually, no, I think what it was is I think they might have shut those services down for the pandemic.
Right. I
and
forgot
it hadn't opened back up by the time we got down there, because we went in like August of 2021, I think.
Yeah.
But like those lines were atrocious. There was one line at Animal Kingdom we waited in for, I think it was over 2 hours, and it was so, even as an adult, I'm just like, I was getting
Jill got that for the Ratatouille ride. She was just looking at me like her patience was gone, and I'm like, I don't know how to fix this problem. Like, I didn't know what to do. I'm just like, I can't help you. I'm sorry. Animal Kingdom was actually the most chill, because that's the one park that had the least amount of new stuff. So it actually felt like a normal experience where we got there right when it opened. We got to do all the stuff we wanted to. And also that's more of a park of like, we're going to go watch the animals,
Yeah, for sure.
And at one point in the middle of the day, the safari was a 60-minute wait. That made sense. Like that's usually how that stuff goes. Nothing exceeded, aside from the stupid ass Avatar stuff, anything, above 60. And I wanted to do the Avatar ride, Justin, but I could not get myself to pay an extra $15 per person to ride that goddamn ride. I just wouldn't do it. I'm like, sorry.
That's the one that we waited for over 2 hours. And
no, I won't do it. I won't do it.
And it was only because it came at such a strong recommendation from my father-in-law.
And that's the thing is, for a brief second, I almost did it because I'm like, Justin spoke highly, and I trust Justin's judgment, but I can't. I cannot pay extra for this. I can't.
On principle alone.
I can't, and I won't. So another thing I noticed is that there were some rides that need maintenance. Like there was just some things that weren't working. Like on the dinosaur ride at Animal Kingdom, which is one of my favorite rides. A couple of the dinosaurs just aren't moving. They're just standing there.
Well, Doug, they're extinct.
Now they are. And then I think there was like one part of Splash Mountain where the audio wasn't working and things weren't moving the way that they should.
Yeah.
Practical
it was just playing It was just playing a local radio station.
Yeah, I was just like, it's like, oh,
Traffic
cool.
and weather on the 8s.
Yeah, I was like, that's not what Briar Fox says. He says something about, never mind. So I was like, oof, that's gonna go bad. That, and then also I was actually pretty disappointed with our dining reservations. Like,
Really? Okay. I know you were having some issues with dining reservations.
Booking dining reservations at Disney on Disney's shit ass website is a fucking nightmare for starters. And I realized my biggest mistake that I made was I was taking what Jill and I used to do with Natalie as a young child, like her first time, and also what we used to do as adults was we would have sit down dining every single night.
Okay.
We should not have done that with Natalie.
Correct.
And the problem with that was because I just was trying to get some sort of dining. It made our day less flexible.
Yeah.
So for example, with Epcot, I got us a reservation at the Coral Reef at like 5:15. So because I'm like, well, we're going to be at Epcot, we'll be good to go. Well, after we went through the Ratatouille fiasco, which Jill made a good point, which was that was time that was way more valuable doing other things that we then wasted on that. And so like we didn't get to go through World Showcase hardly at all.
Yeah.
And we didn't get to go explore shops and things like that. So instead we had to run over to the Living Seas and then go to our reservation.
You didn't get to ride Figment?
Honestly, no, we didn't. And I was actually really bummed because I'm like, that's the perfect ride for Natalie. And that's actually...
I don't know, man. I feel like you guys would have gotten out of that one and Natalie would have looked at you and goes, I'm filing for divorce from you too.
I got to admit, that's one of my favorite rides. It's nostalgia.
Figment?
It's nostalgia. It's a
You're shitting me.
You never have to wait. There's no wait for that ride. For good reason. I know that. It's a guilty pleasure.
Right.
I grew up with that, man. I used to love Figment when I was a kid.
Eric Idle in that is still in his 40s.
Yeah.
Like it is.
I mean, they referenced the movie Flubber. I mean, Jesus. I mean, it's a very old ride. But when you come out of there, there's that fun little play area, which I think where you like step on different things and music plays and stuff like that.
Not during the pandemic.
No, I'm sure not in the pandemic.
There was no reason to go on that ride. Well, I take it back. There's never a reason to go on that ride. You and I are going to fundamentally disagree.
That's fine. And listen, I also agree with you. All right. I know that. This is like me saying like, I like Battlefield Earth. I get it.
Right.
Like I understand it. I like it. That one is pure nostalgia. If you said, hey, Doug, there's a 45-minute wait, I'd be like, nah, I'm not going to do it. But it's like 5 to 10 minutes. And every time I'm there, I'm like, that's the best fucking ride.
I think it took us less than 10 minutes.
I love it. It's the fucking best. It's so good for that. So we didn't get to do that. And then
I had to take my glasses and hat off though, because I didn't want to lose them.
On Figment?
Yeah.
That wild ride through the imagination.
I tell you, man, yeah.
It's crazy. So we went there and then the thing was like, what we should have done was pick out like one or two restaurants that we absolutely love, which is like Art Smith's Homecoming at Disney Springs. That fucking restaurant, it's the goddamn best. If you want to have some of the best
fried chicken,
yes,
we ate there. Holy shit, that was good.
I went full old school Doug at that meal.
There's no way to not. Like you cheat yourself if you don't.
I felt gross after that meal, and I reminded myself this is how you used to always eat every meal.
Yep.
And enjoy the hurt because we don't do this anymore. But yeah, I ate a lot. We shared. Jill and I were both like, we both want chicken, but why don't we try with split? Like, well, you get something, Doug, I'll get the chicken, and then we'll just share. So she got the fried chicken, I got the braised short ribs. God damn it, with some mac and cheese.
I was gonna say, did you get one of those biscuits and just then you put the short ribs and the chicken on the biscuit together? Yeah.
And then they had donuts for dessert, and I thought they were going to be like donut holes, but they were full fucking donuts, and I was like, what have we done?
It's so much food.
And I was like, well, we got 4 donuts. We're going to eat these donuts. And we did. But that's an amazing place. I'm like, we will make an effort to go there. But what we should have done was just done quick service, which, by the way, I don't know if they had this when you were there, the mobile ordering through the app for food for quick service.
They might have. We didn't utilize it, but
holy shit, dude, that's a game changer. Like that is. I remember doing quick service was like, you're lacing up for the game. You're like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando, just putting all sorts of fucking weapons and being like, here we go, this is the whole new line for lunch. You want food? Let's do this. It was brutal. It was brutal. Yeah. It was awful. Now you go on the app, you order your fucking food on the app, you pay for it on your app, and then they send you a message. It's like, hey, come pick it up at this window, and it's done. I'm like,
that's brilliant.
And I would still see people waiting in a line to order. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you idiots?
Hey, dummies, let's go.
I was like, this hands down. I was like, there's this, and then right under that is Rise of Resistance. Like experience-wise, like it made ordering food for quick service.
Quick service food ordering is the best ride at Disney. Currently.
You have no idea, like just the anxiety I would get when it was time to eat. I'm like, fuck. You just look at this massive line of dildos just like waiting and being like, what do you want to eat? I don't know. And it's just, it takes fucking forever. You got to send your other part, like Jill and Natalie have to go hunt down a table and guard it with their lives. Well, I'm sitting there trying to remember what everyone wants and I'm just like, and then you get it and you're just, it's so fucking stressful. Now it's just like, boop, 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 boop. It's ready. Cool. I got it. Thanks. Bye. Click down. We eat. It's so much better. So what we should have done was get there early in the day, go hard, leave, come back, recharge at the resort, and then go back and enjoy that stuff in the evening because I really love the parks in the evening. That's some of the best shit, man. Like,
oh yeah,
we got to see the Disney, like Magic Kingdom close, but we didn't get to see Epcot close. We didn't get to see Hollywood Studios. Animal Kingdom has it closed now. We didn't get to see any of that shit. And I'm like, we kind of just like burned ourselves all day, and then we were exhausted at night. And I'm like, we should have done it better.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't realize each park had their own like closing ceremonies.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. Which is very interesting. But I just gotta say, like, man, it was so good to go back there. I missed it. I really, really did. I also appreciate the smaller trips that we've taken in the interim, like up to Michigan and Wisconsin and things like that. And I can appreciate both more now. Whereas before it was like vacation, well, it's Disney or nothing.
Right.
Whereas now I'm like, let's go explore more places and get these Airbnbs and try these new things. But also maybe every 2 to 3 years, let's make a trip back down there. Let's go see that. Let's, because Nat walked away from there. I warned her, I go, listen, the best part of this trip is when you land in Orlando. At that point, a clock start. There's a stopwatch that goes. And essentially, it's a countdown until when the trip ends.
Yeah.
But that first day is the fucking best day because you land and everything is brand new. You you go through that gate. You get to your hotel. The smell.
All that. Yeah.
You haven't experienced anything yet. The second you walk through that gate of your first park and you're like, what do we do first? And everything is like, we've got this list of things we're going to do and I can't wait to start going. But then each day you start dreading it. Like there's a real depression that comes, and I warned her, I go, listen.
There's that looming cloud that just gets closer and closer.
And I had to remind myself each day, I'm like, be present. And I was. I was like, I shut off all of my shit. Like I sent you a message or two, but for the most part, when I was waiting in line, I'm like, I'll respond to this. This is gross that this woman's kissing her child, but, and whatnot. But for the most part, I was like, I want to be here with my family in this moment. And I want my daughter to experience this sort of stuff. And it was such a good time, but I warned her, I go, listen, the day we leave, it's going to be really hard and it's okay. It's totally okay to be sad. It's totally fine. She did really well until we actually landed in Chicago. Once we landed in Chicago, that's when she actually started crying. And she's like, we landed, the plane landed. She's like, I want to go back. I'm like, me too.
Doug just turns, he's just weepy faced, snot nosed. I want to
go back too. And today, while I was driving her home, I just from school, I had this moment where I'm like, fuck, I want to go back there. I told her, Natalie, I'm really sad. I wish I was back there right now. She goes, yeah. She goes, we'll go back in a little while. I'm like, yeah, we will.
She comforted you.
Well, yeah, because I had told her that before. She's like, Dad, I want to go back to Disney World. I'm like, well, it's going to be a while, kiddo. She's like, how long? I'm like, probably 2 or 3 years. And she's like, 2. Because she does that. When she doesn't understand that I'm giving her a frame, she's like, 2. I'm like, okay. All right. Whatever.
You got it.
But it was a phenomenal trip. And I think Etoy hit it the best in that those moments that you create with your kids. And I always was looking forward to this specific trip, like with my kid, who's tall enough to ride every single ride except for one, so she can experience everything, and B, she's old enough to understand like the magic of the amusement that's going on around her. And also some of the frustrations that I had for maybe missing something. I'm like, well, Natalie doesn't know. She doesn't know yet what she's missing, and she doesn't know. Like, so I would give myself a pass on some of those things, but I don't know. Like, it was good. It was so much fun. It was just phenomenal just to watch that with Natalie and experience that with her, and it just makes me want to experience more of that special stuff with her. And it was great. It was a wonderful. Just also the pool had a slide, and she was just like constantly just going down the fucking water slide nonstop.
Yes,
that's all
sir.
she wanted to do. I'm like, that's cool. This makes it easy for me. Go through the slide, get out, go around, and I'm like, that's totally cool, man.
I'm so happy for you, man. That makes me really happy you guys had that kind of trip. There was the trip that I know how much Disney means to you and your family, and I know how much you've been looking forward to this. So the fact that it didn't just go like it didn't all go tits up and go awry is wonderful.
It's definitely it definitely put perspective for me in that Disney's not perfect, you know.
Oh, sure.
It's got its problems. I
like that it took you 38 years to figure that out.
Well, what they did before made sense to me. Like, and now what they're doing doesn't entirely make sense in a lot of ways, and it also has me worried in that. God, I never thought I'd say this. I'm like, I feel like there's too much. There's too much. Like, Jill was literally saying, like, I think we need an extra day. Like, I think you need an extra day to if you want to see all the stuff you want to see. It's great that they're adding new content and amusement elements to it. It's totally awesome. But
Doug, we can chat offline. I have thoughts on this.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
I have thoughts on this.
But also, my goal is at some point.
Oh,
you and me, we make a trip down
happening.
there, and we will see you probably twice during the trip as you guys are going and doing resort hopping, and we'll be at the parks. You'll be like, no, we're not doing that today. But Etoy says, can't wait to go to do Disney with my kids and my wife who have never done it. No shit. The plans for next year, hopefully. You're getting me psyched. Yes,
awesome.
Man. Yes, absolutely, dude. I can't wait to hear about that. Like, I love hearing about people's trips to Disney and what their experience is, man. Like, and Etoy, you fucking earned it, man. You've absolutely earned it. So I can't wait to hear about how that goes, man. That's absolutely phenomenal. Had more plans to talk about other stuff during this podcast, but I think, that this is good. This is a good Disney recap of Doug's vacation. Yeah. And let me say this. If anyone has questions about Disney, if you've never gone before, if you're like, Doug, I don't understand how this works or whatever, if you need advice, hit us up. We're Disney experts. We'll help you out. We'll give you. I actually had a former coworker reach out to me on LinkedIn. It was like, hey, man, I'm planning to take my family to Disney World. I know you're really good at that. Can you give me some tips? I'm like, absolutely. And I was like, typed out a big thing. I'm like, here you go, man. Here are my suggestions for you. Let me know what you got going on. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or thoughts or anything like that, if you've been recently and you use the Genie Plus or the Lightning Lanes, let us know. What do you think about it? Like, How do you feel about it? You know how I feel about it. Tell us. Hit us up. Drop a comment. Hit us up on our socials. Let us know what you think.
And if you do go ahead and send us a question, what is even better for you, it's an added bonus, is that you are going to get an answer either from Just Justin or from Practical Doug.
You got the questions, we got the answers. All you do is ask. Practical, 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 practical. Ask Practical Doug.
I just read one of the questions and I am in love with it.
Real quick,
yeah,
I gotta say, this is the first time that Practical Doug kind of made Disney rough. Because all I did was just constantly think about what's the most efficient way to get around this park. Like, well, this right now is a small wait time, and this one's a small wait time. So what? And our Epcot day.
Zach Galifianakis math flying at you pictures.
Yeah, because I think if I'm more familiar with everything's not brand new. It's probably more chill. But with that, it's like we got to get on the Frozen ride because we're doing that and then we got to do here. And it was really difficult. So anyway, just want to state that Practical Doug kind of made it difficult.
Well, if you are here for the first time and you're wondering who or what Practical Doug is, Practical Doug is a small entity that lives inside of regular sized Doug, and Practical Doug guides Doug on most of life's decisions. And our fans like to ask Practical Doug, and even our enemies sometimes ask Practical Doug questions. You can either ask them live on Tuesdays when we stream this at 8 p.m. Central. You can jump on the Discord and ask us there on Insta Media at or hashtag at Ask Practical Doug. Woo! It's been a week off. So today's question comes from, you guessed it, Mr. Slotty. And I feel like he has a monopoly on the questions right now. But like Doug said at the beginning of the show, or maybe it was off mic, the bar is low, but you gotta clear that bar in order to get your question on here.
And so also you gotta submit a question. And
that's true. Slotty's really the only one that's submitting questions.
Slotty and Jared are owning that space right now. So
yeah. So
wait, time out real quick. I'm sorry. I got to do this. I totally almost forgot. I'm sorry to interrupt this segment. Jared, this one goes out for you. All right. I need to make an announcement. This is official. Here we go. Jared has put his dick in Wes. Jared, a long time ago, suggested that I watch the show Bluey with my daughter.
Yes!
He long suggested that I watch the show Blue with my daughter, and I just sort of was like, get the fuck out of here. I don't need any more kids shows for
Jared,
my daughter.
it's happening.
During a little bit of our downtime at Disney, we threw on Disney Junior, and Bluey just happened to come up, and I was like, this is a really good fucking show. Like, this is really good. Like, excellent. And I got home, and I was like, Natalie, let's fire this up. And I get to the point now where I will sit down and watch Bluey with her I'm like, yeah, let's keep watching these episodes. They are phenomenal. They're excellent. I can't, like, it's well animated. The voice acting's wonderful. The messages are great. They're 8-minute episodes. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely wholesome. And I'm like, God damn it. This is a good fucking show. And Jared suggested it multiple times. He told me I should do it. And I want to give him credit. Jared, you were right. I should have done it. It's a great show. Hats off to you, sir. Anyway.
All right.
Yeah, even you always like, yeah, Bluey, fuck yeah.
Which is the theme song to the show. It's just that. Bluey, fuck yeah.
Bluey, fuck yeah. All right.
Okay, so this question comes from Slotty. Slotty asks, Practical Doug, your wife has been kidnapped and is being held at a location 30 minutes away. It's very specific. I think I like the specificity in the question. Your wife has been kidnapped and has been held in a location 30 minutes away. You're driving to rescue her. It's a warm night and your windows are down. Do you listen to music on the drive there? Yes or no?
I want to say yes. But Practical Doug probably would say no.
Okay.
Because in a moment of that much stress, the last thing I'm going to do is like, let's get out the iPod. Let's connect to my AirPods. Let's connect to my Bluetooth. Hold on, it's not connecting. I gotta get what's the right? I'm gonna be like,
just flip the radio on.
No, well, fuck the radio. The radio.
Yeah.
The radio.
Uh-huh.
Why would I turn on the radio?
Because you're going to rescue your wife and you need something in the car.
No.
You don't want to sit and connect to Bluetooth.
Sly just said the same thing. You wouldn't just turn on the radio? No. I wouldn't turn on the radio.
I listen to the radio all the time.
I hate the radio.
Yeah, it's the worst, but I listen to it all the time.
Absolutely not. I wouldn't turn on the radio.
It's my DNA, Doug. It's where I come from.
That's totally that's fine. Like for you, that's fine. All right. We all have all of our flaws, okay? For me, if there's something that is that serious, mm-hmm. I'm going to be turn on NPR for the ride. I'm going to be
learn something.
Formulating, like, I know she's been kidnapped. I'm going to be like, what do I need to do? Where do I need to go? What
Right.
I can't. I don't want to listen to anything. I'm probably gonna be talking out loud. I'm gonna be swearing. I'm gonna be. The last thing I need is music playing.
No,
or
but
any
here's
sort
the
of thing.
thing, Doug. Traffic and weather on the 8s. You need to know if you're going to hit a traffic jam going there, and you need to know if the roads are going to be slick.
I've got GPS for that.
You don't want to pull it out and connect to it, Doug.
If I know where first of all, I absolutely rely on GPS. If it's like I get an address, I don't know where the fuck it is. I need to turn it on. Let's go. Here we
Jill's
go.
been kidnapped. My phone's dead. Well, good luck.
Well, I'll try. I'll absolutely try. Probably won't get there, but I'll try. God damn it, I'll get lost. I won't be at the drop point on time, that's for sure. I'll end up in some Wendy's parking lot in the suburbs.
A JBC.
Okay. But yeah, no, I'm warm night and windows are down. Absolutely not. I'm putting the windows up and I'm focusing. I need to talk. I don't need distraction. I don't want any auditory distractions whatsoever. I need to make a Save My Wife playlist to be ready just in case.
So here's the thing. To that great suggestion, Etoy, you should make. I'm assuming your car has a CD player for some reason. No, our car 2022 came with a CD player, which I thought was the weirdest addition. I don't know why they did that, but I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Now I feel like I need to get one of those visor things and just fill it with blank discs just to have it. But I'd say install a CD player in your car. Get a CD tape player. Can you install a tape deck in your car?
What's wrong with you?
I'm just trying to help you out.
You're not helping me at all. You're making Practical Doug furious. Etoy, what's a CD player?
Actually, I like Slotty's thing. What artists are on the Rescue My Wife playlist?
Probably that 10-hour Inception soundbite you played before we went live. Probably some Dark Knight original soundtrack. Definitely not Wonder Woman.
No?
No. I don't need Wonder Woman. Look at this graph.
I feel like Nickelback would need to be on there just to motivate you to kick some ass once you get there.
You know, it's funny because like I when I was in high school doing lots of sports, I guess I kind of had like a kick-ass, like get pumped up playlist. I don't really have that anymore. Like, it wouldn't be suitable for the moment. Like I'd be listening to a lot of pop punk stuff, like because that gets my energy up.
Sure.
Trapped, of course. We couldn't leave Trapped out of that, Slotty. Absolutely.
Now, yeah.
You know, Limp Bizkit. Jesus Christ, man. Corn. Got some
Corn.
Gotta play some Corn. You know, some Slipknot.
Yeah. No, it's a good answer though. You'd be far too focused to soundtrack this.
Yeah, the last thing I would want is some sort of distraction like that. I would be too in my head of like, we've got to go there. When we get there, what do we need to do? Like, how are we going to do this? Like, I would be. That's how I am whenever that sort of. I can sleep to music. I can cook to podcasts. I'm there for that sort of stuff. But when push comes to shove, when it's time to focus, I'm like, full stop, get it out of here. Like, I'm not. Yeah, and if my wife's kidnapped, I need all of my mental energy spent on focusing on how I'm going to get her out of there.
All right. Well, there you go. You heard it first here, Jill. If you ever get kidnapped, Doug will put all of his mental energy into saving you, and he will not listen to music.
There you go.
You're welcome.
I love you. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Sergio asked
what happened to Doug's wife. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, apparently she was
If
kidnapped.
you have to ask, then you're not guilty.
Or is he?
Welcome to the Throwdown.
Sergio just said, look, let's be honest. Doug is listening to Hit or Miss by Newfound Glory. I was literally listening to that last night, Sergio. Literally listening that last night. You fucking get me. You fucking get me.
I feel like Itoy brings up the best point of all. Yes, but once the plan is set, it's time to get battle ready. Make the playlist tonight. Come on, be practical. Not having a playlist ready to go does seem impractical.
I don't need a playlist to rescue my wife.
Mist.
I don't need it.
Miss. Not a mist. A miss.
No, it's good. It's good.
All right.
Let's do this.
Well, either way, here we are. We're at the Throwdown.
All right.
Ready, Dougie?
Let's do this. This week's Throwdown is a couple of bow staff wielding motherfuckers, we've got Donatello from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Robin, a.k.a. Damian Wayne from the DC Comics. Ta-da. I'm familiar with both of these.
All right.
Who would you like to take, sir?
I will take Donatello since he was my favorite Ninja Turtle.
Oh, now you got to choose. Is it Base, Space, Vision Quest, or Shinobi? Donatello.
Oh, boy. Hold on. I'm dealing with the pop-ups. Give me just a minute here.
Yeah, right. I think it should just be Base. Base.
I can't even see the X on this.
Base.
Yes, I agree. It's definitely Base.
Base.
I don't know what. These aren't my turtles. Base turtles are my turtles. All right. So, powers and stats 9A. At least 9A.
At least 9A. Where I come from.
Donatello Yoshi is his name here. He's around 16 or 17. He was 15 years old at the start of the show. So
good to know.
He's got superhuman physical characteristics, martial arts mastery, weapon mastery, genius intellect or intelligence. I opted for intellect, technology manipulation, hacking, instinctive reaction, stealth mastery, regeneration, but it's low, but it's there. Smoke screen generation,
smoke bombs,
and resistance to electricity. His attack potency is small building level. Supersonic plus, he's able to dodge and outrun lasers with ease and keep up with Tiger Claw. His lifting strength is class 5, much higher than average humans. Striking strength is small building class. Durability, he's withstood blows from Shredder, albeit never unscathed. He's got high stamina. He can fight for hours without tiring. He's got extended melee range, tens of meters with his shuriken and smoke screens, hundreds of meters with Yumi, whatever that is. He's got a bow that turns into other things, and arrows. And his big thing is his intelligence. He's an extraordinary genius, scientific genius capable of engineering highly advanced machines, biologist, chemist, geneticist. So he's really fucking smart. Weakness is he's less experienced in combat than his brothers because he spends a lot of his time inside reading books.
But at the same time, I mean, if that's his weakness, is that like all these my brothers are better fighters than me? I mean, he's still a very accomplished fighter, so I think that's
very much so.
Pretty minimal weakness.
All right, what do we got?
Let's talk about Robin, a.k.a. Damian Wayne. He is 10 in his original appearance, 13 post-rebirth. Gross. Superhuman physical characteristics, expert hand-to-hand combat, weapon mastery. So he's comparable to Katana and Nightwing as far as attacks go. And regularly spars with Batman, so that's pretty good. Get some good training there.
For sure.
Supersonic speed, lifting strength, athletic human. He can carry a Nightwing or a Batman while they're injured, so that's pretty good. He can also easily toss grown men, so... durability and striking is small building level. He can take multiple hits from the likes of Nightwing and Deathstroke. He has high stamina, but he can't fight hordes of henchmen for hours. He considers taking us on a squad of elite ninjas trained by his grandfather to be a disappointment. Like his father, he possesses an iron will, refusing to back down even after being shot. So, okay. So he's he's got strong will, which is good. He's got regular human range, extended melee range with certain weaponry, standard equipment, body armor, batarang, smoke bombs, blah, 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 blah. He's basically got, Batman's stuff. Intelligence. Trained by infancy by his mother, Talia al Ghul, Damian is an expert hand-to-hand combatant, able to keep up with all but the best martial artists in close combat, and can wipe out scores of henchmen and even elite ninjas with ease. He spars with Nightwing and Batman, yada, yada, yada. Okay. He's raised by the League of Assassins. He's adept in stealth, detective work. Yada, yada. He's empathetic towards animals, including cowardly, blah, 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 blah. However, having been spoiled and raised with limited social interaction, he's often arrogant to the point of being reckless. That's a big weakness. With his lack of father figure in his early years, making him desperate to seek acknowledgement and recognition of him. Thus, he sometimes makes poor decisions when he gains the upper hand. Normal human weaknesses: reluctant to kill due to his father's teachings. Can be impulsive, reckless, and overconfident at times. So, I think that here's the thing.
Tell me the thing.
I think their combat skill is going to be evenly matched.
I would agree.
While Donatello has a couple more years on Damian, I think they both have had some great teachers teaching them how to fight. I think their stealth is going to be very similar as well. Donatello being a ninja, Damian being trained by the League of Assassins, things of that nature. I think really what this comes down to is I think Donatello's intelligence plays a huge factor here because he is essentially an extraordinary genius. So he can engineer things. His analytical prowess is the most important thing. Like, he's not going to go and, maybe he could use his environment to his advantage and build something, but that's not really what I'm thinking about here. I'm just thinking about his ability to look at the situation, analyze his opponent, find their weaknesses, and also still be a skilled combatant. I think that gives him the upper hand in this situation.
Yeah, I think for me it comes down to the same thing. I mean, if Donatello's weakness is that he's not as experienced in combat as his brothers, but Robin often gives up. He's reckless and gives up the upper hand, or he sometimes makes poor decisions when he gains the upper hand. And at the same time, look, he's a human. Donatello's a mutant turtle. I just feel like he's got. I think he would have the Donatello also has a little bit of the strength on him too.
Yeah,
lifting strength is athletic human, and lifting strength is much stronger than humans for Donatello. The combined force of Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo managed to physically overpower Trog, who was several meters tall and made of obsidian. That's obscene.
Also, I mean, Slotty pointed this out in the chat too. I mean, Donatello has a hardened shell for defense, which we've seen in movies and most of the medium that they definitely use that to their advantage. Not to say that Damian hasn't seen weirder shit, in his travels of things.
I would also say too that he's amphibious.
True.
He could last a little bit. Let's say they were near water. He could take them underwater, and you know what? Robin's only going to last so long down there.
He could hold him under until the last bubble goes bloop.
That's what I'm saying. Man, as we were reading this, and they got the Slotty and Wolf came out real hot, real quick for Damian. But I don't know, man. I think and Etoy, same thing. What's that?
Oh, as Jared says, but which one built a garage van into a tank that shoots manhole covers?
See, Jared, now you're thinking correctly. Jared, you're on a hot streak right now, my friend, and I love it.
And Wolf says, I asked you to factor in Goliath, Damian's pet and weapon, but I don't think I can. Like, I don't. No. Damian, I think by himself is what's key here. We're not asking, because there's certain situations where we include a character and potentially a pet because it's who they are, right? It's very possible. Right. But Goliath, while a certain part of Damian also exists without his pet.
Right. It's not inherent to him existing.
Yes. So, and I would also say if that's the case, then that gives Damian a severe advantage as well, because now he has this pet and weapon and himself. Right. So I don't think that's necessarily a fair fight. So,
well, and I would say that if we're factoring that in, if he meets Donatello without him, like if we're factoring that in, if he does not have him when he meets Donatello, that is a severe disadvantage to Robin, and immediately then puts him behind the eight ball that way too.
But if we're just looking at character versus character,
yeah,
which is what has been presented to us, this wasn't Damian and Goliath versus Donatello.
That's very true.
Damian versus Donatello. And in my case, I think Donatello comes out ahead on this one.
I'm sorry, but I got to give it to Donatello.
Pew, 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 pew. Yes. Good one. Thank you.
It,
Thank you, Council.
We have spoken. The Council presented. We have spoken.
Indeed. Justin, what do you have to recommend this week?
Etoy goes, bat versus turtle. Turtle eats bat. Done.
I think you mean bat or Robin versus turtle.
That's right. Turtle versus bird.
Mm-hmm.
Turtle eats bird. Done.
Game over.
This week, I'm going to recommend. It's a show on HBO Max called Minx. It stars Jake Johnson and other people. I realized I should have probably figured it out. It doesn't matter. None of them listen, and we're not being paid for it. So, Ophelia Lovibond, which is a great name, Jake Johnson, and then like I said, other people. It's a really cool story. It's an American comedy. Let's see, hold on. 1970s Los Angeles, an earnest young feminist joins forces with a low-rent publisher to create the first erotic magazine for women. And it's really funny, and it's very well done. Season 1 is 10 episodes. I am on episode 10. It's not going to change your life. It's not, the best show I've ever watched, but it is very entertaining. And if you're looking for something, you're like, just want something light and something that I can just kind of watch and get into, and I want to see some dicks, along with some boobs, this is the show for you. I'd say Minx, HBO Plus or Max, whatever the fuck it is. HBO's streaming platform.
Yes. HBO.
Doug, what do you got?
I have fallen in love with a new podcast called Dudesy. That's Dudesy. It stars.
Thank you for spelling it because it was. It took me a little while to find it.
Yes, it's starring Will Sasso and his friend Chad Kultgen, 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 and the conceit of it, which we were hopefully going to get into tonight, and maybe we'll get into next week, is that allegedly both Will and Chad have given themselves over to an AI. They have given over their social media accounts, their emails, their text messages, everything to this AI. And this AI has consumed every podcast ever created, and it essentially creates segments for them and manages the show for them. And these two are essentially at its whim to do what it says. And it is highly entertaining. I found myself 2 days at the gym having to stop what I'm doing because I was laughing so hard and I felt like a crazy person. But this AI called itself Dudesy, and it will do things like just decide that they're going to read news headlines and articles about the news that Dudesy has created, and Will Sasso, since he is a fan of professional wrestling, will have to read it in a Hulk Hogan voice. Or it will assign them to write an original song that they're going to perform, and then they will put out to their social medias which song is the best, and the users will vote on it. And it's highly entertaining and bizarre and fun. And Will Sasso not super into it, which makes it also very fun because Dudesy will just interrupt him and go like, all right, next segment. He's like, great, cool. Well, I guess I'm done talking about that now. So I highly recommend it. It's relatively new. I think it started in early March. So you can check it out, obviously, on YouTube, on all their social medias, and find them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff. But highly recommend it. I think there's only 9 episodes out right now, so check it out. I'd love to talk about this more and the idea of AI in a podcast, so we'll put a pin on that for another time. But that being said, speaking of social medias, please check us out on all of our social medias at MindGap Podcast. Head over to youtube.com/MindGap Podcast. If you're watching the show there, like, subscribe, drop a comment, ask us questions. We appreciate that. Please don't forget to share us around, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. Check us out live on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central, and also for the podcast. And then Saturdays, where I host a video game stream, Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central. Come check us out then. Enjoy some fun video game shenanigans. You can see things like the clip we posted where Noah murdered Slotty during a puzzle game. It was a real hoot. It was very fun. And also, don't forget to follow and check out Justin online as well.
On Instagram and Twitter at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the online realm, like Doug said, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, YouTube, all the places where you can find and consume podcasts. And then keep an eye on 2east8th.com and all of 2east8th's social medias, because this year is ramping up.
Get ready
Get ready.
Are you ready? Thanks to everyone for allowing us to take a week vacation. I hope you weren't too lost without us. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back here chatting with Justin and the chat as well. And with that being said, I want to say, Justin, thank you.
Douglas, thank you for coming back.
Chat, you're so welcome. Chat, thank you.
And listeners, thank you.
And you all have a dandy fucking week. Ta-da! Oh, did you just toot and scoodle? Is that what you did? Ah, nice. Sly said, second time I had to hear that today, but at least this time it was friendlier.
Perfect.
Boy, that's an angry one. Someone just be like, don't make my dick hard. Stop it.
Right. Like, how's that?
Don't do it.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I don't like that.
Oh, that was so much fun. Thank you all for listening to me talk about Disney World. I could talk about that for a long time. I had a really, 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 really good time. And it was really hard to come back. It's very, very hard to come back.
Doug lives there now.
What's so funny, because Natalie was like, Dad, what if we lived there? I'm like, you wouldn't like it as much. I guarantee you. Like, the thought of living in Florida just makes my dick soft. Like, just it makes me die inside. The idea of living there. I'm like, nah. That's a place you visit. It's not a place you live. I always think, what if I could work at Disney just, to do some of the fun stuff? Like, I was just thinking about the rides and, again, it's so easy to, Monday morning quarterback this shit. But I was like, God, I would go all out for the Resistance or the Empire. It'd be so much fun to be a dick and be like, stand here, Resistance scum, but you're going to get dumb shits like all the time too. Like that's the worst part.
Don't tread on me.
Yeah, it's bad, because the magic will run out for you.
Very much. Yeah.
But the thing is, you see really cool stuff. Like we had a server at one of the restaurants who was phenomenal. Just it was everything that you hope from Disney. She just loved Natalie. Natalie loved her. Like this woman, Natalie asked her if she had anything that she could color. She's like, she gave her some sheet of paper and she sat down and drew something with Natalie, drew a fish. And then at one point, Natalie bit her finger. Don't ask me how it happened. I just rolled my eyes. She's like, I bit my hand. I'm like, why are you using your hand, not your utensils, you fucking animal? What's wrong with you? I had no sympathy for her whatsoever. Server comes by and she's like, I bit my finger. And she's like, oh, would you like a cup of ice? And Natalie's like, yeah. I'm like, you don't need a fucking cup of ice. Jesus Christ. Right. Lady comes back with a fucking dessert, free dessert. Gives it to her. She goes, while I was back there, the dessert fairy heard and she thought that maybe you could use this, gave her a free fucking dessert. And I was like,
Jesus.
That is the Disney magic right there. It's like, how can we make this stuff special? And that woman got a 30% tip. So I'll tell you that. I took care of her for that. Like that was crazy. Itoy, no joke. She worked as a social worker on death row in New York City and now lives in the retirement community in Disney World. Wow.
Great aunt who lived in Florida.
Whew. Wow. I think she's deserved some time to relax, Itoy. God damn. Jared, talk about Bluey. I missed it. Had a Teams meeting. Yes.
Jared, when this comes out or for replay, go to the Practical Doug segment, and it's in there. That's all we can say.
Yes. I gave you big props, my friend. Big props.
Yes, sir.
And it was Bluey. Yes, you're correct. I fucking love that show, man. It's a great show. You were right. So, but with that being said, everybody, Doug hated it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Itoy, great to see you. Sergio, great to see you. Slotty, Jared, Wolf, Zinni, all you folks. So if I bite myself, I get free dessert. I mean, I don't know at Disney. They might question that at the very least. Are you guys using highlights markup in your video? What? What's that mean?
Key moments is what it's called.
I don't know what that is.
Feature or something, and
I know what that is. So you talking about the cards? I don't know, man. The answer is no, because I don't know what that is.
Hey, let's take this offline.
Yeah. Hey, let's do business live. Okay, that's what I like to do. Podcast business live. That's what people want to see. How are we doing this? Talk to me more, Slotty. I don't know what that is. So, but anywho, you all are awesome. Looking forward to seeing you all on Saturday. I don't know what we're going to do yet. I was thinking maybe some Spyfall, possibly some Among Us. We'll see. Well, we got some Deception maybe going on this Saturday. But You can in YouTube highlight moments in your videos that users can easily skip to. Don't know how to do that, but I can look into it. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. This is awesome. You're awesome. Happy to be back, and we will see you next time. Later, taters. Deuces.